guys, Andy the Budget Angler here. So this is just a quick little video. I've been asked by several comments from my last perch fishing video where I caught some perch on Dropshot worms, how to tie a Dropshot rig. So, or what my rig is and stuff like that. So we'll go through it now. So first of all, I'll go through what you kind of need to start drop shotting. So you're going to need a drop shot weight, which is, got two here. These are kind of like the stick ones, the long ones. You can get like round bombs. The reason these are drop shot weights is that they've got a crimp tie, so I don't know if you can see that there, and that just allows you to clip the line in and out of the eye and adjust the depth of the rig by moving the weight up and down. And once I've rigged it up, I'll show you how to do that. This is a 5 gram one and a 10 gram one. I do also use 7 gram ones, but I've never really gone for more than 10. Even fishing the docks of East London, I found that enough to get down at sort of 20-foot depth and still be a good rig. So as well as the weights, you obviously need hooks. So my favoured hooks are standout hooks. So this is a Mustad standout hook, and that's the last one of those. And I just Google standout hooks. So if I can find some links, I'll put them in, but I may not be able to because you can't always get them. And the other popular one that you see quite a lot is the Savage Gear ones. That's a new packet there that I got because these are running out. And I think I actually got these in a shop. I think I got these in an Angling Direct in Norfolk somewhere. So yeah, they're slightly longer than the Mustad one. I'll get one out and show you that now. So you can see that's quite a lot longer. What size are they? Size 4. Is that a 4? That might be a 4 as well, maybe. You know what hook sizes like, they always vary. But yeah, it's the same principle, and I'll show you that tied on and how I tie it and how it works and what a standout hook is, basically. And then the other kind of hook you can get are the just really kind of wide gape hooks with a big eye, and they're tied completely differently to the Mustad ones, to the standout ones, I should say. These are actually given to me, and I've not used them yet because I have more confidence in the standout hooks with presenting the bait than tying a normal like a drop shot hook, which is just basically a wide gape hook with a big eye. But I will have a go at tying that just so you can see what the advice is on that. But my advice to you would be go online and Google drop shot rigs, because there'll be better videos than mine. But this has been asked for, so I'm going to do it. And obviously, as well as the weights and the hooks, you need some lures. These are just little Timu ones you can use, and obviously you can use bait as well if you can use real worms, which you would have seen in the perch fishing video. These are kind of like a long split tail thing, but when it's rigged up, I'll give you a look at that, and you can use what you like. If it's a soft plastic that flips and flops around, it'll probably work on a drop shot rig. So line wise, you want this is fluorocarbon. Do I know what brand it is? No idea. I've had it for years. This is £7 fluorocarbon, and that's what your rig will be tied to. And the main line on the reel, I tend to use braid. So you can see there, that's braid and fluorocarbon. I'll show you how I tie my braid and fluorocarbon together. That's a double uni knot. Might be easy to see in front of the weight there, and that allows the knot to kind of slip through the eyes, and it's a really nice, smooth, strong knot, and I'll show you that as well. And the reason you use fluorocarbon and braid when drop shotting is that they have less stretch in it, so every time you feel a touch of a fish or something, it's translated through to the rod tip, and you can detect the bites a little bit easier. Right, so I'll show you the kind of business end of the rig first before I show you attaching it to the brakes. I think this is the bit that people will be interested in. You can Google double uni knot if you don't want to stay to the end of the video to watch it. So that's your hook there. As you can see, it's got like a conventional eye there, and then this kind of really kinked bit of shank there, and that's the bit that you tie the knot on, not that bit. And this bit, this eye, is to help the hook presentation. So the line goes through that bottom eye. So I'll tie that on now and show you how I tie it. There would be better knots than this probably, but this is just a trusted knot that I use, and it's just the blood knot. Right, so basically I'm just going to tie a 5-turn blood knot just on this eye here, okay? And it's just got a blood knot with a really long tail, so leave a tail of around 12 to 18 inches to give you enough line to adjust the depth. So yeah, I'll speed that up now and do a 5-turn blood knot here. Right, that's 5 turns there. So this is the tail, and you want the tail to be pointing down when you're pulling this tight. Obviously wet the knot like you would any normal knot, just with a bit of saliva or water or whatever. And then so as you're pulling it tight, you want to be pulling the line that's going back to the rod up, and the tail down towards this eye here. So tighten that, cinch it down. There you've got a nice strong blood knot there. That's not going anywhere, especially with that long tail. You could double blood it as well, but it just makes it difficult with the tail. And then what you want to do is put the tail through this bottom eye. And there you have it. So you can see there how effective that hook is at standing out. That's why it's called a standout hook. So that you'll get an excellent bait presentation there. And so if you, once you get a lure on there, then yeah, you're going to be able to fish that lovely as a drop shot. Right, let's move on to the weight then. So you thread the line through the wide bit of the eye of the drop shot weight. This is the 5 gram one, and then you can, because it's a crimped eye, you can just slide the line into the crimp to clip it in, and there you can see. So the line's at the top there in the crimped bit. The weight's in a fixed position, and it allows you then you can slide that back down into the wide bit and adjust it. So that's the idea of that. So what I'll do is show you a shallow, a deep rig, and then a shallow one, or I'll demonstrate it. So I'm clipping it on the tail there, and that's what is that? It's probably this isn't the best camera angle for this. I'm doing this on my mobile phone. I haven't really got the right setup for this, but yeah. So that's fishing it deep. So you can see that the weight would be on the bottom and the hook would be there. So that's, I don't know what that is, about 5 or 6 inches deep. And the reason I like these long sort of stick drop shot weights is that you can actually, if you've got a sensitive rod, you can feel that, and you can even feel it sort of doing that. And that just that action there would actually give movement to the lure. So I'll put, it's probably looks better underwater, but I'll put a lure on now and try and demonstrate that. Right, I've just for the purpose of this camera, that I'd almost certainly would never fish it that deep unless I was really specifically wanting to get it on the bottom and I knew there were no snags. But just by doing that underwater, there's look. I mean, look how much movement there is in that lure, and that's just moving the weight, and you'll be able to feel every little knock and bump through the braid and the fluorocarbon as you're dragging your lure along the bottom. You'll even be able to feel it when it hits an empty beer can or Coke can. You get so used to feeling it, every little stone, and you'll feel when it drops off a little ledge. It's a fantastically tactile way to fish. So that's basically the business end. That's a standout hook. I use a blood knot and then just run the tail through the bottom eye. There might be other ways to do it. In fact, there almost certainly are. If you've got some good knots for this rig, then do let me know. Right, here's a more conventional looking hook that is also a drop shot hook. It's it's like a wide gape, quite short shanked hook there. If you've got a big enough eye, you can use any hook really. So same principle again. I'm going to use a 5-turn blood knot and then show you what to do with the long tail. So you want the long tail again because you're fishing it the same principle with the weight, the adjustable weight, and a long tail to give you that range of depth. So I'm not going to show you how to tie another blood knot because you all know how to do that, and so I'll just get that tied and then show you how I do the tail to make the hook stand out. I can't make it work as good as the standout ones, just caveat that. Right, there it is, just tied on. So that's going up there. It's actually standing out a bit. I think you could probably adjust it to stand out, but I haven't finished yet. So that's just it tied on. Then what I do is get the long tail and then take it back through. So it's tied on with a 5-turn blood knot, nice and strong knot, and then I just take the tail and put it back through the eye. And that allegedly gives you a bit better presentation by pulling that tail back through the wide eye. That's what you want, a nice big eye. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's standing out enough, to be honest. I mean, that would work. I'm sure you'd catch on it. And if you look at, I think Mike pulling on Totally Awesome Fishing shows you a good knot that allegedly works every time. But I've never been able to make non-standout hooks work as well as the standout hooks, so which is why I prefer the standout hooks. But I dare say this will work if I run out of all other hooks and can't get a standout. There you go, it's kind of standing out a bit there. But I think once that's been fished through the water a bit and you've got a heavier weight on there, that's not going to be doing what it's going to be doing out in the fresh air when you're trying to adjust it. So if you've got some tips on using non-standout drop shot hooks and their knots, then please comment below or let me know what videos to watch. Right, I'll just show you joining the line together now, guys. So here's your fluorocarbon, here's your braid, this is the double uni knot. There are better videos than what I'm doing here. I got this knot from Totally Awesome Fishing as well. So if basically what you're doing is doing a 5-turn knot round each line. So I've laid them together. I'll do the fluorocarbon first. So I'm making a loop around my thumb there, and then I'm going to take 5 turns round itself, the fluorocarbon itself, and the braid. It's a little bit fiddly, but once it's done, it's done. You shouldn't need to do it very often. I've lost count of how many turns that was. I think that's 5. 4 or 5 would be fine. And then put it back through the loop that I had around my thumb. And you can start pulling it tight. And then you can see that it's almost like it's whipped. It's almost like it's whipped the fluorocarbon onto the braid. And you can see that's pulling tight. And that will still slide through. So I can actually pull the braid through that. Well, should be able to, but I can't get the grip on it. It's a bit slippery, but yeah, and you'll see that as we tighten up the knot. And then you do exactly the same, but this time you do exactly the same, but with the braid around the fluorocarbon. You might want to kind of change the orientation if you prefer sort of tying with a left or a right hand or whatever. And so turns round. So it's turned the braid. This time it's a braid being turned around itself, and the fluorocarbon. Sorry if my hands look like they're shaking. I'm sat. This has been filmed on a printer, believe it or not. Not filmed on a printer, filmed on a mobile phone. But this is a printer on my bedroom floor, my spare bedroom floor, because it's a really gloomy day and this is the brightest room in the house. And then, so you can see you've got the 2 knots there. And as you pull the braid and the fluorocarbon together, they cinch themselves. And then you can just pull the tail ends, just to give it a nice bit of thing, and wet the knot, obviously, and that's it. I mean, look at that fine knot, and then just trim. I've come upstairs without any scissors, annoyingly, and so you just trim the tails really close as you can, as close as you dare. You need a nice sharp pair of scissors or snippers, and that's it. And so that knot is so strong, and it's such a small, compact knot that slides through the eyes. It's fantastic, and that's really it, really. So yeah. So there's your rig, there's your drop shot rig. This bit I'm holding goes all the way up to the braid. That's your tag end, and you can slide that drop shot weight up and down. I'll try and give a bit more of a demonstration next time I go drop shot on the video, but hopefully this has been of some use to you. And yeah, so any suggestions or tips of what I'm getting wrong, because this is me, I just do it how I think, and I watch videos and try and interpret them best I can. But yeah, hopefully it was useful and you enjoyed that. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys. Fish on.